all over the world, anime fans and gamers are reacting to Sony, or the news that Sony is going to acquire Kadokawa. Now, are they happy that Sony is going to do this? No. Are they worried about anime and gaming? Yes, we are worried. I mean, even Michael Jackson and some of the older guys try to warn us about Sony.
Into this way, and whoever else, artists that are on their label that are being sucks. Sony sucks. Sony sucks. I want to hear the guys in the back.
I've generated several $1 billion for Sony. They never thought that this performer would outthink them. I'm leaving Sony a free agent, owning half of Sony. So I own half of Sony's publishing, and I'm leaving them, and they're very angry at me because of it, but I just did good business, you know. But so the way they get revenge is to try and destroy my album.
So what you just saw there was the original pony fighter, Michael Jackson. Yes, Michael Jackson has been fighting these ponies long before 1985. But of course, these ponies got MJ. That is why new, warriors like myself had to take up the fight, because Sony needs to be called out for their dirty business practices and how they exploit their fans, and also make the industry that they're in even worse. Today, we will continue talking about the ramifications of Sony buying Kadokawa, and we will see how some persons are reacting to it. In addition to that, we would talk about how Stalker 2 is a really good game. It reviewed well, and the ponies are trying to change the narrative by doing some nasty things. We'll look at that as well. As Microsoft continue to put out game after game after game that really have the community talking like this.
All right, guys, Microsoft Flight Sim 2024 literally dropped an hour ago, and I started playing it, and I have to say, man, this is some of the most impressive tech I have ever seen. As far as video games go, I mean, this is incredible. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So before in Microsoft Flight Sim 2020, the map was pretty impressive, right? Like, we can all agree, looking at the map was pretty awesome. You can kind of see where you lived. It put a little box there where your house was. It was the right size. Now it's ridiculous. Like, I don't know how they're doing this, like if they're pulling the information from like Google Maps, and it is just absolutely wild. So let's zoom in, to a place where everybody pretty much knows what it looks like here, New York City, Manhattan, right? And as we slowly zoom in here, I mean, the definition it's wild. It's wild. And it only gets better the more you zoom in too, like it loads in. So like, look at that, dude. Look at that. There's cars moving and stuff.
You're learning so many important things, and I'm so proud of you.
At the same time, we have Sony fans finally admitting that all they think about is Xbox games. Listen.
Yeah.
But South by Midnight gonna be fire. I don't care what nobody say. I'm so
excited. That does look good.
Amazing game.
Yes.
I am going to show up for that day one on my
100%.
PlayStation 5 Pro. Oh my goodness,
Oh my
it's gonna be so good. It's gonna be so good. It's gonna be so
good, bro.
No, what are you talking about? What would I play this one? It's gonna be the best place to play.
To play what?
I'm playing it. I'm gonna play it on Game Pass day one.
South of Midnight. PlayStation 5 Pro. PlayStation 5 Pro, of course. That game doesn't listen. I could play it on PC, but that game deserves the best treatment I can give it in house. Okay, it deserves my best. Okay, it deserves the best. Okay, listen, my PC only has a 3070 in it. Why am I gonna play it on such low-end hardware? Disgusting. Okay, listen, my PC has like the one of the best AMD CPUs. Disgusting. Only 12 cores. It has 64 gigs of RAM. Disgusting. Not enough. It only has a 3070. Oh my god, that's like 5 generations behind by now. A 1000 watt power supply. Disgusting. I should have 1200 watts. I used to, but I decided to cheap out on it. I just don't care about PC that much. The best place to play South of Midnight will definitely be on my PlayStation 5 Pro.
You see, guys, you see how these ponies have revealed themselves? These guys are hungry, these guys are thirsting for good games. They are more hungry than this dog. What a sad state of affairs that Sony is doing this to their player base. But let's talk about all these topics and more. So, let's get it!
This is a sickness!
Let's get it! So before we continue the video, guys, don't forget that if you're looking for the best Xbox content, if you're looking for the best set of Sony Pony Salt, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. No doubt that it would help the channel out. I'm trying to grow the channel to just over 4,000 subscribers, maybe early next year. So no doubt your sub would help or aid in that. So do me a favor, hit that subscribe button today. Now let's get back to the video. First up, let's talk about this Kadokawa situation with there is a rumor saying that Sony is going to acquire the parent company of Firm Software. Now, we know that anime is one of the biggest media platforms in the world today. In addition to that, we know that Firm Software are the originators of the Soul Lights games, which has grown in popularity maybe since 2020. We know streamers like S.T.A.L.K.E.R and other major streamers play these games, Elden Ring and so forth. So of recent, Firm Software has been cooking, especially with Elden Ring, selling over 20 million copies all over the world. Now, what is interesting about this rumor is that if true, Sony will not only have the entire Firm Software library of games, but they would also have a lot of anime intellectual property. Now, a lot of persons are saying that this would cause a monopoly when it comes to anime, and also it would deprive gamers who would have enjoyed Firm Software games on other platforms like PC or Xbox, only on their platform, which is reducing the amount of players playing it. We know that this was one of the talking points for the FTC, why Microsoft should not buy Activision Blizzard, because they believed at the time that Microsoft would have prevented games from going to other platforms, making that game less accessible for gamers all around the world. But Microsoft didn't do that. How Microsoft did it was very smart. They gave their consumers a special deal by putting the Game Pass, and everyone else can pay full price for it with no additional perks. So that's a good business model in my opinion. But Sony is not that type of player. They like to keep things exclusive to their platform. So it'll be interesting to see what the regulatory bodies have to say about this merger. But I digress. The point is, how is persons feeling about this acquisition? Listen to some popular YouTubers as they comment on the anime side of things. Listen.
We're talking about a big buy here. And again, I don't want to be doom and gloom. I want to hope that Sony Group Corporation doesn't mess this up. But this does kind of position Sony once again as being sort of in a position of pretty much a monopoly at this point. This is sort of positioning them in a point where they can take full control of the anime industry.
This is probably the worst news for anime, manga, light novels, anime and manga culture. This is legitimately some of the worst news I think I have seen all year long. And I feel like a lot of people that are potentially celebrating this don't truly understand how dangerous this is and how bad this is going to be. Like, if this fully does happen, if Sony does fully acquire Kadokawa, anime culture itself is going to change 100%. We've already seen glimpses of anime, manga, and light novel culture being changed to fit certain Western companies' ideology. And if this goes through, this is no longer just, let's say, Western companies being acquired. This is a Japanese company that will be acquired by Sony, and basically Sony will be capable of manipulating the releases of stuff at the very source.
Yes, we don't want Sony manipulating anything because they are sick. Now, it's not only Xbox guys or the anime guys who are worried about the sickness that is the ponies and the Sony fans. Yes, we even seeing Firm Software fans who love playing Firm Software games. They too are complaining about Sony looking to acquire Kadokawa and in effect acquire Firm Software. Listen to this Reddit thread. When this news dropped, some Firm Software fans came onto Reddit and they started a trend and they named it "Put It Back, Thief." Yes, this is how they described Sony. Remember, this is not Xbox guys. This is Firm Software fans who love Firm Software, so like games. They and all view Sony as a thief. Notice what they said here. Zordi on Reddit says, "We need to openly and aggressively oppose this. If Sony takes Firm Software, they'll just ruin it like all large companies do. Firm Software was just fine on their own, and while in the short term they'll benefit from the assistance and resources, the art will suffer in the end." Roy said, Sony already owns 14% of Firm Software. Additionally, Kadokawa is significantly more than game IP. Ownership of non-game IP includes Game Era and Appleseed, just to name a few. So it's clear, Firm Software fans, in addition to anime fans, in addition to Xbox fans, they are opposed to this merger because Sony has a bad track record in recent times that, when they acquire studios, things just get worse. Take, for example, Bungie. Bungie was healthy when they came into Sony, although Sony would have overspent for Bungie. Right now, Bungie is just a skeleton of themselves, having laid off the multiple fans, having absorbed Bungie completely. Sony has made Bungie worse. Who can remember Firewalk Studios? They were a young up-and-coming studio that was optimistic about their new game Concord. When Sony took it over, they gassed them up to the point where it is. This game turned out the worst in this generation. So Sony has a bad track record so far when it comes to acquiring studios and developing the talent as it is. But we'll have to wait and see what transpires from all of this. Let me know what you think about it in the comment sections below. And finally, let's talk about Stalker 2. Stalker 2 was made by Ukrainian developers, and they did very well given that they were in an entire war. Nonetheless, they produced a very good looking game and also a great playing game. So much so that there are YouTubers like the video you are seeing right now who has comparison videos of reality versus Stalker 2. And let me just say, wow. Now, the reviews for this game came out and this game reviewed well, getting an 81 on Metacritic when it comes to the Xbox version. Wow! Again, these ponies was desperately looking for a win, so they decided to post the Steam player count for Stalker 2. As you can see here, it's only 174, so they thought they had a win. Wow! Stalker 2 is a flop. And then this happened. Yes, Stalker 2 has a higher player count and a peak player count than Dragon Age, the new Dragon Age that just came out, that shattered all records this year. So Stalker 2 so far is having a magnificent start. So much so that the developers of Stalker 2 had to send out a thank you because they themselves didn't expect such a massive response to Stalker 2 from even the PC community. Wow. But we know that the ponies are going to pony, and from the very jump they started to spin a narrative that this game got 74 on Metacritic. But when you look closely and when it is you don't believe the pony lies, you see that this 74 that they are using is from the PC version. no doubt the reviewers would have used the PC version and they would have judged the game based on that PC version. But the reviewers who did it on the Xbox no doubt had an excellent experience when it comes to the Xbox. Now, if the ponies are using the PC version of this game to say it's a bad game, then we can do the same. We can use the PC version of, let's say, Last of Us, because this is a bad game too. This is what, 59 on Metacritic? So is Last of Us now a bad game? You see how easy we catch you ponies and jabronis lacking? Yes, you guys have used the console version of Last of Us to prove that Last of Us is a good game. So in a similar way, we can use the console version for the Xbox of Stalker 2 to prove that it is a good and beautiful game. So checkmate, ponies, checkmate. So let me hear what you thought about everything that was said today, whether it be the Sony acquisition of Kadokawa. What do you think about it? Do you think it will go through? What would the regulators say? Or what do you think about the ponies trying to lie about Stalker 2 when it comes to the reviews? Let me know about what you think about it in the comment sections below. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more videos. I'll see you guys in the next one. Later.